India, a country so rich in colors, sounds, smells, and emotions that it's almost impossible to describe in words. You really have to go there to feel it. When Sammi and I traveled to India this winter, we didn't know what to expect, but it became one of our most beautiful trips of our lives. We returned to our little cabin in Iceland with suitcases full of spices, tea, and colorful souvenirs. And, most importantly, with our hearts full of warm memories. One of my favorite ways to reconnect with those memories is through food. So today, at our little cabin in Iceland, I'd like to share a dinner inspired by the people who welcomed us so warmly in India. We'll make a buttery, flavorful lamb curry with Icelandic lamb, soft, chewy rotis to scoop it up, a vegetable side dish inspired by kolams, a beautiful tradition that is very common in Tamil Nadu, and apple milk, a simple yet very tasty dessert popular in the city of Madurai. When we travel, Sammi and I like to take things slowly. Sightseeing is never really our priority. We're drawn to places that feel less touristic because they often offer a deeper glimpse into everyday life. What we love most is spending time with locals, seeing how they live and learning from them. And one of our favorite ways to connect is by cooking together, because sharing food has a beautiful way of building bridges between cultures. One place we remember fondly is Kotikanam, a quiet village surrounded by tea plantations of Kerala. There, we spent a wonderful time with our friends Jess and Fibin and shared many meals together. Here you can see Sammi preparing slangabrot, or stick bread, very popular in Switzerland, where we originally come from. We also cook dishes we often make in our cabin in Iceland. And as you can see, they were very well received.
Adivoli, adivoli.
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 Just a few hours away lies Bodi, a small town in the tiny district of Tamil Nadu, known for its cardamom and closeness to nature. There, we found a beautiful, peaceful farmstay, surrounded by lush trees, and yet very close to the city center. Our hosts, Murali and his daughter Abarna, and Shiva welcomed us with incredible warmth.
Welcome to India.
It's for a farm stay. Bodi, Tamil Nadu. It's a green environment where you can visit, enjoy and relax. Welcome!
Welcome.
They showed us their everyday life, their region, and their food. Every day, we enjoyed different local dishes, from generous breakfasts to lunches served on banana leaves, and light dinners of simple curries with roti. We visited rice fields and banana plantations, and even traveled to Madurai to see the Meenakshi Amman temple, dedicated to the goddess Meenakshi, a symbol of strength, love, and protection. There, I bought a beautiful sari, and Abarna helped me to put it on. And look how long this sari is. I also had my hands and feet decorated by Bhavani, who also works at the farmstay. She used fresh henna, made directly from a plant growing right there in the area. Murali and Abarna taught us also a lot about local plants, from neem that you can use as a toothbrush, to spices that can be used in so many ways, and sugarcane, which we learned how to enjoy the local way. And just like in Kerala, we cooked together again. Sammi prepared Swiss roti, and I made a simple chickpea dish. It felt like bringing a small piece of Switzerland and Iceland to India. And now, remembering those moments, I want to bring a little bit of India back to our cabin in Iceland and share with you a dinner inspired by the food we enjoyed with our friends in Bodi. Góðan daginn, I'm Lua, and welcome to my cabin kitchen. So we're going to start with a curry. So when we were in India, in Bodi, with Murali and Abarna, we had very often a light dinner with just some chicken curry and some roti. And I thought that I was going to do the same thing, but instead of using chicken, I'm going to use lamb because, well, we're in Iceland and Icelandic lamb is very, very tender, very mild in taste. So it goes actually perfectly with a curry. And also, when we were in South India, we realized that a lot of people were using coconut oil. I'm going to use ghee. Ghee is clarified butter, and this one is homemade, and it's very rich in taste, and I think that goes super, super well with this Icelandic lamb. So I'm going to use that instead. And also, in South India, they use a lot of mustard seeds, like black mustard seeds. It tastes really, really good, but I somehow think it goes better with the coconut oil. So I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use, well, ghee and those spices here, which makes this curry a little bit more of a North Indian version. But honestly, it's so, so, so good. I love it. Sammi loves it. And it goes well with this Icelandic winter. For this lamb curry, you need vegetable oil, ghee, yogurt, onion, tomatoes, garlic, ginger. You also need lamb. And as for the spices, you need cumin, bay leaves, garam masala powder, coriander seeds, chili powder. I used mild Kashmiri chili here, cloves, black peppercorns, salt, cardamom, dried red chilies, turmeric, and a cinnamon stick. To be honest, I never really measure the ingredients exactly when I cook. I just use a bit of everything and adjust the flavors as I go. So these are just approximate amounts. Start by chopping the onion. I like onions very finely chopped, so I'm using a blender here until it reaches this consistency. Next, mince some garlic and ginger. I'm using quite a big amount here, and whatever I don't use today will go into the fridge for the next curry. Now it's time to marinate the lamb. This helps the meat become tender and full of flavor. I've ground some pepper and coriander and added that to the meat, along with turmeric, chili powder, salt, and garlic and ginger. Then I cover everything with yogurt and mix it well. If you have the time, let the meat marinate for a few hours. Since it's cold here in Iceland, I just leave it outside. The lamb has been marinating for a few hours now, so let's start cooking. Heat some oil and ghee in a pan. Once it's hot, lower the heat and add slightly crushed cinnamon, cardamom, cloves, bay leaves, and cumin. Very soon, your kitchen will be filled with the warm, comforting aroma of the spices. Now add the minced garlic and ginger, followed by the onions. When the onions have softened, stir in some turmeric and ground chili. These spices will give the curry its beautiful, vibrant color. I also add a little bit more pepper, salt, and coriander seeds. Let the spices roast gently so that they release the flavors, but be careful not to burn them. Next, add finely chopped tomatoes and let them simmer until they become very soft. A little extra salt at this stage helps the tomatoes break down. Add the marinated meat and let it cook until the moisture comes out and the oil begins to separate. This is where the flavor really deepens. At this point, add a little bit more ghee, some garam masala, a couple of dried red chilies if you like extra heat, and a splash of hot water. Let the lamb simmer until it's soft and tender. And that's it. Your lamb curry is ready. A kolam is a beautiful drawing made with rice flour, created every morning in front of the house to invite good energy. In Tamil Nadu, you can see them almost everywhere. When we were in Bodi, we woke up at 5:30 every day to draw these delicate patterns with Abarna and Murali. It looks much easier than it is, and Sammi and I definitely struggled to make something elegant. But it was also a lot of fun, and it almost felt like a form of meditation. You have to stay very focused to make the lines smooth and regular. We even started drawing kolams here in Iceland. Not with rice flour, but with black volcanic sand, which you can find almost everywhere on our beaches. We also made a few kolams with yellow sand, imported from Denmark. But today, we're turning a kolam into a vegetable side dish. For this vegetable kolam, we simply used whatever we had in our little kitchen. Dried chilies, za'atar, which is a Middle Eastern spice blend, sesame seeds, ayvar, a roasted bell pepper spread from the Balkans, homegrown sprouts, marinated olives, carrots, cucumber, cheese, and red bell peppers. And look, the sun is finally coming out. Let's take advantage of it and make our vegetable kolams outside, almost like in India with rice flour, except in freezing temperatures. Okay, so Sammi and I, we're outside. It's February here in Iceland, and we do get a little bit of sun, not too much because we have the mountains in between. But yeah, let's take advantage of those sunrise, even though it's almost freezing outside. Is it about 0, minus 2, minus 3? But let's make our kolam-inspired side dish here outside. As soon as the sun disappeared behind the mountains, it turned much colder. But it was still lovely to create a little piece of art with vegetables and condiments. And even if our kolams didn't turn out quite as beautifully as I had imagined, it didn't really matter. They were colorful, almost like the real kolams in India, and full of fresh flavors and vitamins. Perfect for our cold Icelandic winter. So, it's time to make dessert, and we're going to make apple juice or apple milk, which is also Murali's favorite dessert, and it's something that's very, very popular in the city of Madurai in Tamil Nadu, and it's usually served when it's very hot, which is not the case here in Iceland, but you need only a few ingredients and also a lot of cold, and that we have in Iceland, so we're going to make that. For this dessert, you only need 3 ingredients: apples, milk, and sugar. There are many ways to prepare apple milk, and I'm showing you the version we learned in Bodi. First, chop the apples very finely. The finer the pieces, the better the texture will be. Next, pour some cold milk in a small container. Add a little sugar and the chopped apples, then stir everything together. Cover the container and place it somewhere cold. I put mine outside, and that's one of the nice things about winter here. Whenever we run out of space in the fridge, we can simply use the outdoors as a natural freezer. So next we're going to make some roti, And you can find roti everywhere in India. It's a flatbread made out of whole wheat, and it's so good to scoop up your curries, your stews, your lentils, and it's quite good. I love rotis. So to make roti, you use whole wheat, and there is even a specific type of flour that you can use that you can buy in shops. I haven't found that flour here in Iceland, so I'm just using regular whole wheat flour from the supermarket, and it really works well. So I think you can just play around and see what type of flour works best in your country. For the rotis, you only need a few simple ingredients. About 1.5 cup of flour, some warm or hot water, a pinch of salt, and a little ghee or oil. Start by mixing the flour, salt, ghee, and some of the water. Once the water has cooled enough to handle, bring everything together. Add a bit more water or flour as needed, depending on the texture of your dough. Mine turned out quite wet, so I added a little extra flour. Knead the dough well until it becomes soft and no longer sticks to your hands. Then cover it with a bowl and let it rest for a while. Now it's time to make the rotis, and Sammi is getting ready. He shapes the dough into small balls and gently rolls them out. In India, rotis are often cooked over a gas stove. But since we don't have one in our cabin, we're using this electric pancake maker instead. Once the surface is hot, place the roti on it and wait until small air bubbles start to appear. Then turn it over. Sometimes the rotis puff up with the air, which is always a good sign. When the rotis are ready, Sammi drizzles a little olive oil over them to keep them soft. Making rotis looks simple, but it's not always that easy, at least not for us. Still, every time we make them, it feels a little easier. And somehow, the whole process is quite cozy and relaxing too. Once everything was on the table, I added some sliced onions, drizzled with fresh lemon juice, and a pinch of salt. They go really well with lamb curry, adding a bit of crunch and freshness. The apple milk has become ice cold, and I poured it into beautiful glasses. Finally, I finished the vegetable kolam with a bit of olive oil, a pinch of salt, and a splash of vinegar. So, our Indian food is finally ready, and yeah, it smells really good. I wish you could smell all those spices, which also bring us back to India. So we are starving. We are going to dig in. Yeah, I hope you liked it. And thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.